Hey everyone, and welcome to my Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness reading vlog. Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness is the final one in the Chaos Walking series, and considering I am co-hosting a read-along for this, I thought I'd take you along with me one final time as I read this book before we do the live stream. I have no idea what to expect with this book whatsoever. I just know the war is coming, a whole load of factions are all coming against each other, and Todd is right in the middle of it. That's all I really know, that's all I really want to know. I haven't read the synopsis for this one ever since the live show for the previous book, and I've since forgotten it, so I'm just going to go into this one without any knowledge and just see where it takes me. I am absolutely not ready for this because I know it's going to absolutely break my heart once again, but I'm still so excited to read it, so let's get in with it. I've just opened it up and it turns out there's a map in here, so that's what it looks like. I've never actually had a map in any of these before, so that's quite helpful. I'm 39 pages in and this is not like hiding from the absolute horrors of the battlefield whatsoever. That we have got a lot of blood at the moment. We've also had Todd hearing someone's noise as they die. He is seeing soldiers literally burnt alive at this point, and horses also being burnt alive and people being shot and everything else. And he's also discovered that the mayor sent his own son Davy into battle with an unloaded gun. So he was fully planning on his own son dying in this war and he did not care. And I am sometimes still shocked by the mayor's absolute depravity, to be honest. I am sometimes genuinely shocked by his own depravity and how far he will go to like get what he wants and not care about anybody else around him. So yeah, this is a hard read, and that's without even going into Viola's point of view, where she's managed to get to the ship. Coyle has gotten there first, and she's talking to the two people from Viola's ship, and is trying to say, oh no, like the mayor's out of control and everything else, and trying to say that her side is the good side and they need help and everything else. But Viola's going, actually no, you tried to kill me, and they're now trying to figure out what to do, what side they're on, if they are on a side, and just what to do, because there's all of these armies all coming in together, everybody's fighting each other, and what do you do in that situation? So yeah, I always forget. I go into these books going, oh yeah, these books are very dark, and then I start reading them and go, oh actually it's gotten darker. And I did think that was possible, but apparently it has. It's still very, very good, don't get me wrong, it's still very good, but the absolute like darkness of this and how it does not shy away from anything it's talking about is incredible. And also I do want to say as well, Viola has said as well that the humans enslaved the Spackle and then tried to commit a genocide on them, and I'm so glad that she used that word, because that is exactly what the humans did to the Spackle. I'm so glad she didn't just say, oh yeah, they killed them or anything else. She actually used the word genocide, because that is exactly what that is, and exactly what Patrick Ness was getting at. It's very, very clear that he was getting at talking about genocides and things like this, and I'm so glad he used that word, because it's such a powerful word and it is the perfect word for this. And obviously it creates those conversations again and gets like the parallels to real world circumstances and everything else out there, which is so, so important to do. So really glad that she also used the word genocide in there. I just finished part 1 and I really, really liked that. I especially liked the ending chapter in this, which is from 1017's point of view, because I think it was really interesting to see from the Spackle's point of view and seeing how they're viewing this war and the humans and Todd specifically, and how the Spackle sort of experience the world in terms of how they communicate with each other and all of this kind of thing. I thought that was very, very good, very, very interesting, and I really liked that section. I also really like Viola's point of view in this one, and seeing that push and pull as to what to do in this situation now that she is with the scouts from her ship, and them saying, like one of them saying, we can like help out here, we can send these missiles in and try to get rid of the Spackle that way, while the other one's going, whatever we do, it is going to set the tone for how we live on this planet for the rest of our lives and for generations to come, and things like this. And I really, really like that push and pull there. What I will say is that I felt like it was a little bit too much to put on the shoulders of a 14-year-old girl who is clearly traumatised, who has clearly been through a hell of a lot in the last few weeks. So I kind of wish that maybe there'd been a more adult in that situation, but at the same time the adults were either really biased in terms of Mistress Coyle, or completely out of the loop and completely brand new to the situation, like the two from the scout ship. So I can understand why they asked Viola, but at the same time it felt like it was a little bit much to be putting on the shoulders of a 14-year-old girl. And then also the fact that she was saying she would have bombed them to save Todd, and she knew that she would have sent those missiles over and willingly killed Spackle and possibly caused an even bigger war to save Todd. I find that very interesting to see that argument of saving one person compared to everybody else and this kind of thing. I found that very, very fascinating to see her point of view on that, and seeing her go, no, wait a minute, I can't do that, and this kind of thing. I found that very interesting. And of course the mayor was creating his own armaments. Of course he was. I should have seen that coming. But what I want to say on that one as well, actually, very quickly, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but obviously I've just gotten to the end of part 1, so there's a lot to talk about. But what I really liked about that, or what was very, very interesting about that, I know I keep on using the word interesting in these vlogs, but it's the only one I've got at the moment. But what I found very interesting is the fact that he's now saying that they've got cannons and guns and things like this compared to spears and bows and arrows and things like this, and the absolute parallel between colonial powers versus indigenous populations across the world during colonial years is absolutely apparent. You can really, really see it, and the way they've done, like the way Patrick Ness has done that is so clever. And the fact that he also used Viola saying that the Spackle are the indigenous population as well, he has made it very clear that he is drawing parallels between this book and real world like circumstances that have happened in the past throughout history with colonialism and things like this. I just thought that was very, very, very clever to do, and a very clever parallel. I know he's been doing it throughout these books, but I love that it's really sort of like hitting even more now, and he's doing even more with that and saying, no, they are the indigenous population, this is a genocide, all of this kind of thing. I love that he's really hitting it on the head with this one, and he's very much saying there is no getting around this. This is a direct parallel to what humans have done in the past to each other, because they've seen differences between people because they don't either look like the colonial like powers, or because they live differently, or they're just from a different country, or whatever. He is not sort of hiding away from that parallel or that discussion, and I really like that about this book. I really, really love that he is not holding back on any of this, because it's such an important conversation, it's such an important topic to talk about and everything else, and I just really like that he is not hiding away from that. What I will say is that I should not have been surprised that the mayor was creating armaments, because of course he was. I should have seen that coming. But the way the mayor also is so war happy, and he's like, this is what makes you a man, this is like, is going to be the making of you, Todd, and you're going to be like forever changed, and yes, you did enjoy that thrill when we were winning, and this kind of thing. It's so, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just so hard to read, and also you're just sat there going, what is wrong with you? This is war. You are willingly killing living beings and you don't care. It's like, I do not understand how, I don't understand how he could be so happy to be going into war, watching half of his men die, and then happily killing an entire indigenous population, when they so easily, right at the beginning, could have learned to communicate with the indigenous population and say, can we possibly share this planet, and try to work together to share this planet because we want to live here as well. You know, it didn't have to be a complete takeover. They didn't have to have this massive war with the Spackle and then enslave them and kill them and everything else. They could have learned to live in harmony, and the fact that he is like, yes, we're going into war, we're going to win, we're going to like take over this entire planet and there's going to be none of them left and all of this kind of thing. I'm like, why can you not learn to live with other people? I mean, he can't even live with other women without enslaving them as well. So I don't know what I'm saying here, but I don't know why I expect it, because of course he is going to do that, because he has to be in charge of absolutely everything. He is not going to rest until he is a complete dictator over absolutely everybody. But the fact that he is so excited for war and how into the war he is and everything else is genuinely terrifying. I will say it is genuinely terrifying to read his point of view where he is so excited to be going to war. So that's all I had to say on that one. That was probably very rambly. I've been talking for nearly 7 minutes now about this, so I'm gonna go eat lunch actually and then carry on reading this. But very, very good opening part to this. Definitely a lot of important conversations to be had. A lot of very, very important things going on in here. And I really like the Spackle's point of view in this one as well. So now I'm going to go and eat some lunch and then I'll come back to this in a minute. I really like that we're getting Bradley's point of view, or not Bradley's point of view, but Bradley's reaction to getting the noise and him suddenly going, wait a minute, everyone can hear my thoughts. That is a really good thing to see, because obviously we've only seen Viola learning that she can now hear every man's thoughts, and then everybody else in this has always known, or at least at this point is used to hearing everybody else's thoughts in the noise. So I really like that we're actually getting Bradley's reaction to suddenly having every thought in his head being able to be heard. I really like that we're actually getting that. And then also, I do not trust what the mayor has done with that lightness in Todd's head. I am not. Like, I do not trust the mayor, and I do not like that he's done something and given Todd something, because that always makes me think he's done something so he can now control Todd in some way, shape or form. So I am very nervous as to what he has done to Todd and Todd's noise. The way the mayor is manipulating everything is he's got the ability basically, or at least he's working up to being able to control the entire army with his mind. And Todd's saying, like, you're working up to control the whole world. And the mayor's just gone, you make it sound so sinister. I'd only ever use it for the good of us all. And he's like, absolutely not. You would not be using it for the good of everybody else. You would be using it for evil, and so you can basically be a dictator. And I'm just like, it makes sense why people are just following him, because he's controlling them. But it's the fact that the only people who have any chance of actually stopping him is Todd and Viola, and there's nothing they can do right now because they can't raise an army of their own. They can't, like, fight the Spackle on their own. They can't fight the Answer on their own. And it's like, I've got no idea how they're going to get out of this. The only way I can see this ending at the moment is if the mayor dies. And that's only one part of it. The mayor and Coil are both going to have to die. So then you don't have both of them going at each other. But I don't want the Spackle to die, because this is their indigenous home. And they didn't ask for any of this. And they deserve to live happily on their land that they own, that has always been theirs. So I don't want anything to happen to them. But they're not going to stop, quite rightfully in a lot of ways, from, like, fighting the humans, because the humans have caused all of this. And Viola is talking about a truce, and, like Bradley also wants a truce and things like this, but I don't know. I don't know if there can be a truce. I don't know if there can be a truce. I don't know if there's going to be any way to stop this, to be honest. I do not know if there's going to be any way to stop this. The only thing I can think of happening is killing off Prentice and Coil. And that's going to solve at least small parts of the problem, at the very least. But that's not going to do anything else, you know. Because you can't just imprison them or anything else, because they're too powerful for that. They'll get out, they'll manipulate things. Or kill each other in prison. Which will solve the problem, because one of them will be dead, but then you'll have the other one still there. And then, I don't know. I really don't know how this is all going to resolve. I literally have no idea how this is all going to resolve. But what I will say is that I'm flying through this, because I've read all 179 pages so far, and I've only been reading for a couple of hours. So I am flying through this, but I have no idea how the hell they're going to fix all of this. Genuinely, I've got no idea. Coil's saying that they're waiting basically for the mayor to come to them, because he's not going to be able to stand being, like, in control of only half of the planet and things. But I keep on thinking as well that the mayor is viewing all of this like a game, because they're back in the town again, and they're trying to use the town as like a stronghold, but they're all staying in tents and they're not staying in the houses that are around the town, because he's like, oh no, it's like better this way. And it feels like he's playing a game. Like, he doesn't, like, the mayor doesn't see this as, he sees it as real, but he's seeing it almost like he's playing a game of it, and like he's sort of role-playing war in a way, because he's like, oh no, we don't need cover or anything else, we're doing a real war. And it feels like he's role-playing it. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, he knows it's real, he definitely knows it's real, because like obviously he knows it's real, but it feels like he's viewing this more like a game, and that he is a kid role-playing, well, maybe not a kid role-playing, but it feels like he's role-playing war, and he's not seeing, well, he is seeing the seriousness of it, but he's also acting like it's a bit of fun, which is so like him, to be honest, because clearly he, honestly, I think the man believes he's the only, like, person who matters in the world, and everybody else is like his plaything and like little pawns to play on his little chessboard. Like, clearly that's what he thinks of everybody else, but it's so unnerving in a lot of ways to see him acting like that. Even now, 3 books in, it's still unnerving to see how he is treating everybody and being like, oh no, we don't need the houses or anything else, we can just stay in the tent. And the way he's kind of acting like this is all a bit of fun and not actually something very, very serious, it's just really unnerving, to be honest. I think that's the only way I can describe it, as being really unnerving to see a fully grown man acting like this when he is instigating and worsening a war, and a colonialist war as well, and a very sexist war, with the way that, as well, because obviously the townspeople have split off, so the women have gone off to the answer and the men have stayed with the ask for the most part. And it's like, it's a sexism war, it's a colonialist war and everything else, and he is acting like it is nothing, like it is a complete game. And all I am saying is that I really hope, I've been saying this for 3 books now, but I really hope he gets some kind of comeuppance in this, because he so deserves everything that's coming to him, or at least everything that is hopefully coming to him, because that man deserves like a horrendous ending, to be honest, for everything he has put everyone through. So we shall see if that happens. It probably won't, knowing this book, but I severely hope it does. So the Spackle have just attacked the water tower, and Todd has realised that he can also like control people with his mind like the mayor does, and he did it to James, kind of like, because he was annoyed because James wasn't paying attention to him, so he made James go and get the water before the Spackle attacked. And I don't know how I feel about that, because Todd seems to be unwillingly, well, not unwillingly, but unwittingly going down a dark path and kind of following what the mayor's saying at this point. And I'm just like, he's got to stop, because I know he's in an impossible situation, and obviously the mayor has done something to him so he can like do this control thing, but I am worried about the path Todd is heading down, because it is not a good path, and the mayor seems to be kind of grooming him, for lack of a better word, into becoming a leader of men and being like the mayor and things like this, and Todd is just kind of not letting him, but he's kind of just going along with it. And I'm not sure I like where that's going, because obviously that is not a good thing for Todd, that is not a good thing for anybody, and I'm just a little bit like, Todd needs to not go down this path, is what I'm getting at. Todd needs to not go down this path, he needs to go down a different path, because that's not going to end well for him. Also, you've got everybody in the camp with Viola who are going against Bradley, because Bradley's like, we can sort this out in a humanitarian way and not bomb everybody or anything else to get what we want, because that is not the way to deal with things, and everyone is acting like that's a bad thing and they need to bomb the spackle, they need to get rid of the spackle and all the rest of it, whereas Bradley's going, no, we can sort this out, we can have a truce, we can live together, kind of thing. And I am completely with Bradley on this. I mean, to be honest, the spackle have absolutely all of the reasons in the world to attack the humans after everything they've done to them. But at the same time, I can see where Bradley's coming from, saying we can sort this out humanitarianly and actually come to a truce and learn to work together and things like this. And I do agree with Bradley on this, but everyone's going, no, we just need to bomb the hell out of them and this kind of thing. And I'm just like, no one seems to be looking at this in any other way apart from this has to be a war. They have to kill the spackle, they have to kill each other, and someone's got to come out on top. And I'm just like, either they sort this out in a humanitarian way, in whichever way that means, or they leave the planet. I cannot see any other way of this going without some race being completely killed off, whether that is the humans or the spackle. And actually the mayor, thinking about it, has really sped up possibly the death of the humans here, because he's put an extra chemical on the bands that he's used on the women, and it is proving fatal. And without women, you literally cannot continue to survive. And obviously he's fine with this because of Prentice Town, and if this was his plan all along, I don't know what he was planning, because clearly there can be no humanity without women. So I don't understand where the mayor's coming from with this, because if his plan was to kill all of the women, they're straight back to Prentice Town again in terms of the level of problems they've got. They're literally just straight back to Prentice Town, where there's only men and they're all dying out. So I don't understand what his plan is, unless he's thinking, oh yeah, I can get all of the women off of the ships that are coming in like 5 weeks, and then there'll be women there or something, but at the same time there'll also be men, and obviously they're not gonna like let this happen to them. So I don't know, I'm just like, what is the mayor planning? Why has he decided that he's gonna try and basically kill all of the women slowly, painfully, via this banding? And I just don't know. I just don't know at the moment. I am enjoying this, don't get me wrong, I'm very much enjoying this, but there's so many things going on where I'm going, there's better ways to deal with this, and also you've just screwed up humanity entirely by doing that. So I don't know how they're going to get through all of this. There's a lot going on, there's a lot to think about. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about all of it, but I'm very excited to discuss it in the next live show, I will say. Ben is still alive, and the spackle have him, and they're using him because he was very near dead, and they've managed to heal him, and they're getting all of his thoughts and all the information out of him. And now 1017 has gone, he is mine, I think. If there is peace, he is mine to kill. And if there is peace and Todd finds out Ben is still alive and then Ben is killed, that's going to kick off a war again, because Todd's not going to be able to stand that. I did not see that coming. I did not ever see that coming. I was convinced Ben was dead. I was completely and utterly convinced that Ben was gone, Ben was dead, he was not coming back. But he's actually, oh god. Again, another thing has happened and I've gone, there's no way that this is going to end well. Like, there is no way this is ever going to end well. Genuinely, like, I've got this much left. I'm 277 pages in at the moment, and I have no idea how this is ever going to be resolved. I'm, for the first time ever, I am not usually someone who skips to the end. Like, ever. I usually just read a book straight through and I do not skip to the end. But I am so tempted to just skip to the end and just see how this all resolves, or just to see that everyone's still alive, because I genuinely do not know how any of them are going to survive this, because it seems like no matter what happens, there will be war, and no one is going to stop trying to kill each other and things like this. So I don't know how this is going to all end. Genuinely, how is this going to end? How? All I've got is, how is this going to be dealt with? Can it be dealt with? I don't know. I am just, there's a lot going on right now, and my brain is very much exploding with this, because this was a plot twist I was not seeing coming. This is definitely not a plot twist I saw coming. The mayor's just basically given Todd a bit of paper and gotten him to actually read, "My name is Todd Hewitt and I am of New Prentice Town." And I just do not trust him at all with this. Like, I really just don't trust him. Like, whatever he's doing, and that hum that's in the back of Todd's head, I just do not trust it. I really feel like he's somehow manipulating Todd or something, just playing in the back of his head, just doing something in the back of his head, and like playing with his mind and all the rest of it. And I just don't trust it. I feel like he's somehow controlling Todd, like really subtly or something. I don't know, I just feel like he's doing something, because he's talking about, oh yeah, we can maybe use this to like pass information and things like this, and I'm like, I don't trust you whatsoever. And Todd's saying, like, I don't trust him, not never, he isn't redeemable, but I'm seeing him a bit different, seeing him as a man and not a monster, and things like this. And I'm just like, the way he's kind of turning more towards the mayor and being more like nice to the mayor and sort of trusting him that little bit more in a way, just makes me think the mayor's manipulating him, like physically with his mind control thing. I don't know, but I'm definitely feeling like something like that is going on, because it just feels like the mayor is doing something here. I can't tell what, but it feels like he's doing something to manipulate Todd. I knew the peace talks wouldn't go well. I just knew it, that something was going to go wrong and the peace talks were going to fall. But the fact that the Spackle were going to try and get the mayor, and obviously Todd, in sort of like punishment, and don't get me wrong, the mayor absolutely deserves what's coming to him, and Todd does deserve punishment of some description for his part in this, but then the mayor knew, and he managed to outsmart them, but now he's just killed a bunch more Spackle. And it was all going so well, and now he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna broker the peace, and he's managed to come out on top again, looking like he's the one in charge. And I'm just sat here going, can someone just get rid of him already, because he is not going to help matters whatsoever, like at all at this point. He's just going to keep on making things worse, because he's so far up his own arse, he thinks he is like god of the world essentially, and that he can do basically anything, and he's in charge, and he's the only one who's going to solve any of this, and his idea of solving things is killing anybody who doesn't agree with him. So what I'm getting at here is, can someone just hurry up and get rid of him? Like, I don't care how, just get rid of him, because he's not helping matters whatsoever, and he's just not helping. He's just not helping. He's making things worse, and they just need to get rid of him somehow. I don't care how, just get rid of him. So the sky is setting 1017 up to be the next sky, so that's going to be quite an interesting take on things. But then the mayor's just conveniently managed to find a cure for the infection of the bands, just as peace has been brokered. My arse has he just found that. He's had it this whole time, and he was waiting for the perfect moment to do that, to make him look like an absolute genius, like perfect human, and make everyone love him. It's blatantly obvious what he's doing, and luckily Todd and Viola and Coyle and people like this can see straight through it, but everyone else is falling for it, or at least he's controlling them to make them fall for it. So yeah, I'm not trusting him whatsoever. Still, there's like this much left. I've still got like 200 odd pages left, I think it is, 250 maybe, and I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, as per usual, because that man is awful and clearly is manipulating absolutely everything, and everyone's just letting him do it. But meanwhile, they've just touched down at the clearing where the answer is, and Ivan and most of the crowd have started booing Coyle, because obviously Ivan is going whichever way keeps him alive the longest. He's really flip-flopping between wherever he wants to go, and now people are going against Coyle, and that's not going to end well, because if more people start believing in the mayor, it's all going to go downhill from there. Because of course it is, because the mayor's just going to like take this to his advantage and becomes a dictator again of absolutely everybody, because everyone seems to just be forgetting that he's the guy who banded the women in the first place, and obviously the Spackle, and genocided the Spackle and everything else. He is an awful human being. So I'm just like, how is this going to be fixed? how is this going to be fixed? But what I will say actually quickly is that I'm glad that they've decided to wake up Ben, as in the Spackle have decided to wake up Ben, and they seem to be giving him back, because Todd needs a win right now, and that seems like a win, though I'm sure it's going to somehow go wrong as well, because everything always does in this book. But I am glad that he's going to get back Ben, even if it is briefly, so we shall see how that bit goes as well. But as per usual, I do not trust the mayor as far as I can throw him. So Coyle's just tried to basically suicide bomb herself and the mayor, and Todd has saved the mayor. He thought he was saving Simone, but he actually saved the mayor, and obviously Viola's horrified at this because, like, Simone's now dead. But I'm just sat here going, how? I mean, like, how? Why did Todd save the mayor? I think the mayor's done something to his brain. I've said this a few times, but Todd keeps on mentioning the hum in the back of his head when the mayor's, like, with him, and he's saying, no, the mayor isn't controlling me and all the rest of it. But the mayor is very clearly controlling him, and is in his brain, even subtly working on, like, Todd's mind and things like this, and making him trust him, and making him go, like, oh yeah, you're making me better because of your influence and all the rest of it. And it's clearly not. Clearly the mayor is doing something, and that's clearly what's happened again now. But Viola's not going to believe that, or probably isn't going to believe that. Yeah. Now there's no one to really oppose the mayor apart from Viola, and yes, Viola is very sort of powerful in the sense that she's got a lot of people believing in her and believing in what she's doing and all the rest of it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And now the mayor is unopposed. This isn't going to end well. I keep on saying this. I've said this the whole way through, but this isn't going to end well. And I've still got maybe 120 odd pages left, and I genuinely don't know how this is going to wrap up. I just don't know. I literally have no idea how they're going to wrap this up, how they're going to fix this. I have no idea. I have no idea how this is all going to end. So the mayor has now dressed him and Todd in identical uniforms, and Viola's starting to distrust Todd a little bit because of his sort of allegiance with the mayor in a way, and saving the mayor over Simone and things like this. And I'm starting to think that the mayor is trying to separate the two of them because he knows that the two of them together are a powerful duo, and that the two of them will see through all of his stuff and everything he's doing and try to stop him. Whereas if he's got them on opposite sides and he's got control of Todd, like Viola is more alone in that sense, and then she can't really do anything. Or she can still do stuff, but she is severely sort of depowered because she doesn't have Todd with her. Especially considering Mistress Coyle is now not there either. Which means that then the mayor has basically got no one really, apart from Viola, sort of standing against him. So I think that's what he's doing, because Todd is hearing in his noise, or like he's hearing the hum. If I can go back and find the bit. Where is it? Because he's saying, because the mayor says, like, put on the clothes, you'll be surprised how much better it makes you feel. And Todd goes, that faint hum, the joy of it, it's kind of making me feel not so terrible. And then he starts putting on the clothes, and it's definitely the mayor playing with his head. And Todd's like, yo, no, it's not that, like, he's not playing with my head or anything else, but he very clearly is. And also Todd should also be really worried because Viola can't hear him either, which is causing that distrust again, because Viola can't hear his noise, so she can't hear what he's thinking. And I definitely think the mayor is behind it. I mean, clearly he's the one who put that in his head, so then Todd could, like, stop his noise a bit and stop it coming out and everything else, but I definitely think the mayor's done something to Todd. I've said this the whole way through, but I definitely think the mayor has done something. And I think now, getting to this point, I think it's so him and Viola are separated. Like not just physically, but mentally as well. They are mentally, like, separated, and therefore can't scheme against him. So then he is basically in charge. So I definitely think something like that's happening. And I'm wondering how that's going to change when Ben arrives. And if Ben is going to be able to maybe break Todd out of it because he knows Todd the best and he loves Todd the most, arguably, as well. So I don't know if Ben's going to maybe break Todd out of this, or he's going to see through this, or whatever. But I'm hoping that Ben is going to somehow turn this around, because no one else knows that Ben is coming. So I'm hoping that's going to change it, but we shall see. I knew Ben would be the thing that broke Todd out. I just knew it, with not just Ben's powers, but how much Todd loves Ben so much, that I knew he'd break him out of it. And I knew that Todd would be like, I am actually not acting like I should be. And Viola's going, of course the mayor was controlling him and everything else. So I'm really glad that happened. But also, they've just kissed. Like, Todd and Viola have just kissed. And I haven't necessarily been shipping them. I was quite happy for them to remain friends. But also, I'm kind of glad that they've sort of realised that they do have feelings for each other. It's kind of like, I would have been happy on either way round, whichever way they decided to go, whether they were going to remain friends or become romantic or whatever. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad they kissed, because it's kind of been building up for a while. So kind of glad about that as well. But mainly just really glad that Ben is back and he's broken Todd out of this. And hopefully they are actually going to figure something out, because I've got still about 180 pages left. So there's a lot that could go wrong, to be fair, but hopefully it won't. I'm saying that there's 180 pages left. There's no way it's not going to go wrong, but hopefully, I just remain hopeful that it's not going to go horrendously wrong now, now that Ben's back. And now Prentice has just shot Ivan in the head and has now put the gun on Todd and just hit him on the head with it and knocked him out. I knew it was too easy. Knew it. Just knew it was too easy. It was far too easy. Something was going to happen. Of course it was going to happen, because it's the mayor. I knew he was going to do something. I just knew it. I knew he was going to fight back. I knew as soon as he started sending everybody away, so it was just him and Todd, I knew he was going to do something. And now he's got Todd again. And he's going to try and do something. Probably use him as bait. Maybe not bait. I don't mean bait. He's going to use him as a hostage to get what he wants. Or something like that. He's definitely going to do it, because he's twisted it so Todd is like his son in his head, and he is a possessive man. And he's not going to allow Ben to take Todd back, even though Ben raised him and everything else. Mayor wants him, and the mayor gets what he wants, because the mayor isn't going to stop until he gets everything he wants, because he's a possessive, awful human being. I don't know how they're going to deal with this now. I don't know what he's going to do next. I have no idea what he's going to do next. I'm genuinely scared of what he's going to do next. I won't lie, so I knew there was too many pages left and it was going too well, but this book is so tense, it's unbelievable. This is so tense. Oh my god. I really like when the Spackle were heading towards the humans, and the humans are readying for war while Viola is trying to get to Todd and the mayor and everything else. I really like that they've sent out Wilf, because I feel like he is the best one for that job, to try and broker peace, because the man is completely truthful. There's no pretense to him whatsoever. He is exactly what you see is what you get with Wilf, and I really like that they've sent out Wilf, because I feel like he is definitely going to be the best one to maybe broker peace, or at the very least stop the Spackle from like attacking so quickly, to give Viola time to get to the mayor. So I'm really glad that they sent out Wilf, because I feel like he is perfect for that job. I'm not sure how I feel about the mayor's death, because the mayor has just basically said to Todd, if you force me into this like water, you basically take one more step towards becoming me, instead of becoming like Ben, because Todd could go either way at this point. And he's like, I don't really want you to become like me. And he's walked into the ocean himself of his own volition, after telling Viola that he did put a slower acting poison in all of the bands to kill all the women and the Spackle, but the cure is actually real, and it is like all of the information is on the ship. And he's just walked straight into the ocean and let himself be eaten, and I don't know how I feel about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he's gone. I am so glad he's gone, because he definitely was not going to be like redeemed in any way, shape or form. There was no redeeming him, and there was nothing they could do with him, because if he was imprisoned, he would then just carry on fighting to get back out again, because he was just going to control more people and all of the rest of it. So I like that he's gone, so now he can't cause more problems, but I don't know how I feel about his actual ending. I really don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to have some thoughts on this because I don't know how I feel. I can't quite even express how I feel about his death at the moment because I don't know. I don't know. I liked the battle, don't get me wrong, I liked the battle between the mayor and Todd. I did like all of that, and the fact that it was Todd and Viola's love for each other that managed to kind of defeat him in a way, but I don't know how I feel about his ending. I really don't know. I'm going to have some thinking on this, and I'll probably discuss it more in the live show when we do it. At time of filming, I don't know when we're going to do it, but obviously all the information will be here if you want to check it out, but I don't know, I will have to have a think on that, and I'll have to come back either at the end of this vlog or in that live show with what I think about that ending for the mayor, but I'm glad he's gone. That's as far as I know at the moment, is that I'm glad he's gone. The Sky did not just kill Todd. The next bit. I mean, I've still got this much more to go, but that didn't just happen. The Sky did not just believe that Todd was the mayor and kill him. That didn't just happen. If that has happened, I'm going to not be happy. I won't be happy. I mean, I've still got like 50 odd, maybe 60, 70 pages left. I've got 70 pages left, so he can't be dead. Surely. He can't. That didn't just happen. I'm going to have to carry on reading immediately, but that did not just happen. That better not have just happened. And I just speed read the ending. I've still got the short story to go yet, but I have speed read the ending, and I actually really liked that ending. I liked that it ended on a hopeful note, on Todd coming back to Viola again. It's left it slightly open ending, so as a reader you can figure out or kind of come up with your own ideas of what's going to happen now. It's also giving that opportunity to see where humanity could evolve to, where they are also like Ben, and maybe Todd as well, in the sense that they can all hear the land and everything else, and everything is connected, and there is peacetime and everything else, and I really liked that. I really liked the ending. I'm still not sure what I think about the mayor and his ending, I won't lie, but I really liked the ending of that. I thought it was hopeful, but without being too sort of like, and everything is fine now kind of thing. I really liked that it was kind of, it's hopeful for the ending, but it wasn't like everything is now perfect, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. And I feel like if this had had a perfect ending where Todd and Viola had gone off into the sunset, there was no war and everything was fine, I feel like that would have been a bit of a cop-out ending. So I kind of understand why Patrick Ness had Todd nearly killed, and then that ending, I think it was a really good way to end this. To be honest, I don't know how else I would have ended it anyway, so I do really like that ending, and I really like the message that this sent. Now I'm going to very quickly read the short story, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts on this book and this series as a whole. And I've now just finished that short story, and I really liked it. I like that we were seeing maybe a little bit into the future, where they've started going through and exploring the rest of the new world, and they've discovered a new sort of little sort of village of spackle who are not like the rest of them. They've cut themselves off and everything else, and the terrible things they've done. I did really like that, to see like a different kind of spackle and what they were doing, and like how they were living and everything else. I really like that. I like seeing the rest of the humans exploring, and then also that ending where Viola has confirmed that Todd is now awake. I did really like that as well, so it was a really nice, really fun short story to read at the end of here. And overall, this was a really fun read. I really like the exploration of the fallout of war and building war and generals and dictators and all of this kind of thing. I really liked all of that. I really liked Todd's journey throughout here, and realising that actually he has been controlled, and seeing the guilt he feels for that and everything else. I really loved the Returns journey as well. I really, really liked his storyline with him going through from being hell-bent on revenge, going through to being more of a like, not humanitarian, that's not the word I want to use, but it feels like the one I need to use, but a more sort of forgiving kind of person, and seeing the era of trying to get revenge and how revenge doesn't really solve anything. I really like that storyline. I love that Ben was back again as well. I really, really love that. I love Viola's storyline as well. I just generally really, really enjoyed this one, and I generally think that this is a really good way to end the book as well. I think this was the perfect way to end the book. I don't see any other way this could have ended without it feeling feeling too perfect or too sort of neatly wrapped up, and this is not a series where you can neatly wrap everything up without it feeling really unrealistic. So I like that this was a little bit open-ended, so you could interpret your ending from that going forward and things like that. And I just generally think this was a very good ending and a very, very good series. It handled all of the topics it covered very, very sensitively and very well. I felt like it was very well researched in that sense. I feel like it got its message across very, very well as well, and I generally really enjoyed this series, so I do definitely recommend it. And now I cannot wait to be discussing this with everybody else in the live show. Details here so you can join us when we go live. And that is where I'm going to wrap up this vlog, and that is where I'm going to leave this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you thought of this book the first time you read it. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a spaceship emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, as well as a link as well down below to my Etsy store that sells bookish merch and Notion templates if you want to treat yourself to something bookish today or organise your life via Notion this year. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But till next time everyone, bye!